It is true that all over the world, there's been a toxic masculinity culture that says boys should not cry or shouldn't show emotions. But there's also a healthy way to be a man. There's also a healthy way to be a father. And it is my earnest desire that you as a man will make that decision today. That you will be a present father. That you will be available for your children. That you will not love them based on circumstance or based on conditions.
Hey there, family. It's time to rewrite narratives that shape family life. This is the Family Journal.
Hi fam, hi everybody. Happy Sunday to every one of us. I missed you guys last week Sunday, for real. You know, life has been really lifing. And for the past 3 weeks, I've had it in a very chaotic manner. To the point that a friend of mine said, Jane, I think you should dedicate one episode to your trials and tribulations. I was like, my God. And we should name it The Trials and Tribulations of Jane Adiele. But guys, I know I won't do that. But anyways, that's story for another day. Today is a very special day because we are celebrating amazing men who have stood the test of time. Allow me to take this precious moment to say Happy Father's Day to all the amazing fathers out there, wearing the hats and shoes of responsibility. From protecting to providing, teaching, guiding, leading, covering, modeling, playing the role of a priest, supporting each and every one of their children, disciplining them when it is needed, caregiving, and being the best tea party guests ever. To all the amazing fathers who sacrifice, who show up daily, who do all they can just to ensure that they give their children the best. You all are stars. Happy Father's Day. And here's to many more years fathering and being the best you can and raising amazing children all over the world. As we all know and cannot deny, the role of a father in anybody's life, whether male or female, is so important. God, in his infinite wisdom, knew that he would take these two genders to make the world balanced. In the book of Genesis 5:2, the Bible lets us know that God created male and female. Like he decided that he would take these two genders to make the world balanced. That is to tell you that the role a woman plays is quite different from the role a man plays. Don't get me wrong. It is true that what a man can do, a woman can do better. But there are certain roles specifically meant for males and certain roles specifically meant for females. This has nothing to do with education, careers, and the rest. But there are certain roles, socially, emotionally, mentally, that men and women play that can be switched. I say this to say that fathers are so amazing and their roles in the lives of their children cannot be underestimated. We've seen over time, over the years, the effect of not having a father in a child's life and what it has done and has continued to do. And this is not me throwing shade at single parents. Before you come for me, let me tell us a short story. When we relocated to live with my mom, I saw my mom shoulder so many responsibilities. Responsibilities meant for both a man and a woman, that is as parents, right? Responsibilities of paying the bills alone, making sure she's present emotionally, physically. She did all she could, even though she wasn't able to do a lot. But she did what she could. The point I'm trying to make is single parents are shouldering responsibilities meant for two people. And that's a lot of work. And wherever you guys are, I'm throwing you love and so much light because you guys are doing so much. And I appreciate the effort you're making to ensure that these kids are coming out well. Well done, guys. And if you'll agree with me, it's not an easy task. And this is one of the reasons why I appreciate parents who, even after they have separated, still ensure that both mother and father are present in the lives of their children, because there are certain roles a mother needs to play in the life of her children that the father cannot play, and there are certain roles that the father has to play that the mother cannot play. And so this is a huge reminder to us that both sexes on this earth are important and keep the earth balanced. And for a holistic growth in a child's life, you need a father and mother figure. You might be a single father or a single mother, but somehow, even without your knowledge or without the knowledge of your child, indirectly, your child may have, seen somebody as a father or mother figure. It might be a teacher in their school, it might be their nanny, it might be their grandparents. For somebody like me, the first amazing father figure I had was my granddad, my mom's father. He showed me love in ways that I did not understand love could exist. Now, that was in his own way because he was not this kind of mushy kind of father, but he did it in simple ways like caring, asking if I had eaten lunch. Are you going to school today? Are you okay? Like, I remember one time when I was very sick, I saw my granddad pray over me. I saw him check me part-time to see if I was okay. I saw him show up in ways that made me laugh, tell me stories, things that you will expect a normal father to do. So what am I trying to say in essence? The role of a father and a mother is important. And I know how tough and terrible it was for not having an emotionally present father. That brings me to why I used issues when I was creating the topic for today's episode. So if anybody saw the teaser flyer, you would see that it had issues. That is ISSHOES instead of ISSUES. I used issues. So here's the thing about shoes. Shoes carry you through life's journey. Your first job, your first day in school, your promotion day, your wedding day. Shoes are so important. They bear so much memories. And for some of us, we have like these favorite shoes we cannot do without. You know those shoes that you wear around the year without giving them some break? We have those kinds of shoes. Or maybe, have you ever been in a position where you needed to change your shoes ASAP and you got like these amazing shoes and you could not stop looking at it. You could not stop wearing it because for so long you had a shoe that was no longer serving and then you had to get a new shoe. Shoes are so important because they carry us through life's journey. They add color to our outfit. They are so reliable, they are so durable, they increase and boost our confidence, they protect our feet and carry them graciously. If you've ever been in a position where your street was flooded and you needed to pass through the pool of water just to get home, you would realize that there were days you were asked to take off your shoes. And when you took off those shoes, you felt exposed. You felt like you were exposed to danger. Something could prick your leg or something could bite you. And for some, we refused to take off our shoes. We used our shoes to walk through the water because we felt protected and covered by these shoes, even though water would pass through them. Just the fact that these shoes were still on my feet, I was covered and protected. Shoes bear the responsibility of ensuring that we are covered, we are protected, and carried to the places we need to go to. Somebody getting a promotion. With shoes, we have entered into rooms that have given us opportunity, your first performance on stage, your dance competition, so many other examples to cite. Shoes are powerful. Shoes are beautiful. I call shoes legacy because they somehow create memories. They create journeys that stand as legacies. Now, I say all this to remind us that whenever a father isn't present to play his roles, children are often left with emotional footprints they don't understand. And that brings us to the topic of daddy issues. What exactly is daddy issues? Because pop culture has thrown this title up and down, and it has made it feel like the topic itself or the origin of this topic, the issues surrounding this topic is trivial. Whereas it's not. It has caused deep wounds that have been unable to heal. It has destroyed a lot of relationships and has even resulted in poor parenting for those who were in these situations. So daddy issues, even though it is not psychologically known as daddy issues, it's just a term that we use to describe dysfunctional relationship children have with their fathers. It might not necessarily be your biological father. Anybody you see as a father figure, you can also have daddy issues with them. And the idea around daddy issues is psychologically known as daddy complex. And daddy complex is surrounded by certain issues, and these issues range from emotional struggles to attachment patterns. In fact, the whole idea of daddy issues talks about attachment patterns. I say all of this to remind people to always go back to make research, or ask questions before judging people or saying things they do not know. I've seen people throw these words, daddy issues, up and down at people, even when it doesn't even relate to them. So just because a person is behaving in some type of way, you just boom at them. Oh, you have daddy issues. It's not always daddy issues. Sometimes it's just trauma. Even though, yes, the daddy issues we are talking about still has to do with trauma. If anybody has had an abusive father, a negligent father, unavailable, very dismissive, inconsistent, and controlling, you have, in one way or another, had to deal with daddy issues. Like I said, psychologically, it talks about emotional struggles and then attachment patterns. Now let's go back to the father of all fathers, God himself, God the creator. A father who is patient, loving, caring, kind, so compassionate. Do you know how many times you and I have offended God? Do you know how many times we've done the things we are not supposed to do? Do you know how many times we've treated people anyhow? And do you know how imperfect we are? Still, God in his infinite mercies carries us daily. He loves us daily. He shows up for us regardless of the sins we commit. Then when it gets to children, we cannot forgive children. We cannot let them off just for 1 minute. Oh, because she's my child or he's my child, and we just treat them anyhow. You know, parents only love their children when their children are doing well based on conditions. Oh, he took first in school. Oh, he won an award. He did this, he did that. And then when the child does not do that thing that you expect of them, you now make that child an enemy, or you make that child seem like they don't know anything, or they are worth nothing. Like you yourself are a perfect person, like as if you don't have flaws and are so perfect to the point that you can't make a mistake. So let's talk about these things, because if we don't talk about them and arrest the issues, the cycle is going to continue. Because as I'm talking to you, there is another daddy issue that is going on right now that is causing somebody pain, that is destroying relationships that should blossom. You know, I can remember watching one of the episodes in The Rookie, and I heard when Officer Nolan said he thought if he could do better, his father would have come back, because his father just left one day, left him and his mother and just walked away. And then he was saying, maybe if I had done better, he would have come back. You know, children keep carrying this blame that their parents love them for their deeds or what they do. And that's why you see adults who are always seeking validation, because people have had to make excuses for their fathers. Oh, he walked away because I did something. Mommy, is it what I did? Did I do anything? You know, they keep asking their mothers, should I have done like this? Maybe if I had done like this. Let me even give you another example. Ikora in The Dream Count, when her father left the house, she blamed her mother for the father leaving. Whereas this was a decision the man made. According to him, I need to set my son straight. So let me go and stay with the second wife so that I can set the boy straight, because he has started misbehaving in school. Do you get? And then Zikora was blaming the mother, that if the mother had not pushed the father at the staircase, if she had not done this, if she had not done that, the father would have stayed. And then she somehow always wanted to do what her father wanted. Let me give you an example. When her mother was when they were trying to choose a school for her abroad to school, you know, her mother wanted her to school in the UK and her father wanted the United States. So she chose the United States just because it was her father. Anything to please daddy. Anything at all to please daddy. These are issues that stem from what we call the daddy complex, also known or culturally known as daddy issues. And just like I've been saying in other episodes, everybody came from a family, and dysfunctional home often raises dysfunctional children and sometimes adults. Yes, some of us might adjust as life goes on. We might notice some of these things and start to make adjustments. Some people get into therapy. Some people would, start to reflect personally, find God and just try to make their lives right. But we will not lie and deny that it takes so much to get all of that done. It takes so much effort. It takes nights of tears, nights of pain, and days when you would carry scars, wounds that are so deep that you ask yourself, can these wounds be healed? And so even though people throw daddy issues as a punchline or a cultural stuff around and never really look into it, it's actually something we should all look into, and we should all see a way to prevent. Now, here are some very crazy effects of daddy issues or the daddy complex. The fear of abandonment. Whenever you see people who sometimes fear to commit to intimate relationships because they don't want to get abandoned at the end of the day, or they are scared that it's not going to work, just know that it can be as a result of a father abandoning a child or not being present. So that fear of, if I commit now, I'll get my heart broken because this thing looks familiar. It has happened before. And so the person just quickly withdraws themselves from anything called emotional attachment and missing out on what could be good. Another side effect that is common, everybody knows this one, is low self-esteem, low self-worth. Looking at yourself as nothing. Oh, daddy, I wanted daddy to see me. Daddy did not see me. I feel small. And then you start to belittle yourself and the things that you are capable of because you tried so much to prove to your dad that you are worth his love. You tried so much to do all you could just so that your father could see you. But with all the efforts you made, it was abortive. And so you see yourself as not worth anything. And you see yourself as small, as little, as not being able to achieve great things. And then it just hinders you from being your best self and maximizing all that you have. Another terrible effect from this whole thing is overcompensating to please other people. Oh my God. I think I've been in this position before, to pleasing people, and mine did not last for a long time for one reason. When I started to grow up and I saw what people pleasing did to people, and to me, of course, I just quickly stopped doing it. Overcompensating and pleasing, that thing, even when you know that this person does not deserve the attention you're giving them, or when this person does not even deserve the things you are doing, you still go ahead to do it. You just want to be liked. You just want to be seen. You just want, it's an emotional cry. Something is inside of you that is craving attention, that is craving love, that is craving warmth. It's just craving every good thing, but it's finding it in the wrong place. It's looking for it in the wrong place. Because, like I always tell people, nobody can make you complete. Nobody can make you whole. It's only God that can do that, because people are fickle. Life is fickle. Anybody can change. Anybody can do anything. But if a child should have gotten the best, basically, right, it has a way of helping that child maneuver life, even when difficulties would show up. Another crazy side effect is struggles with trust and intimacy. This one, I can agree and I can attest. Trusting people, not just trusting people, like trusting people was a very big deal for me. And the thing is, once a person breaks trust, it's very difficult to even listen to anything that person says. It's difficult to even, you might have forgiven the person, right, for what they did, but just listening to the person, or even if the person is wise, whatever, I don't want to go near you anymore. And I know a lot of people can agree with this. Even people who haven't even faced or gone through the daddy issue thingy, if you've had to be in a position where somebody broke your trust, you will agree with me that it was hard for you to trust another person, and it was hard for you to get over the whole thing that happened. It's a very deep scar, and it can affect intimacy too. There is limits to what you would want to share with somebody that you love, limits to what you share to even people that are close to you. You hide a certain part of yourself and you just reveal just a little part. So they don't entirely know who you are. They just know the things that you tell them, the things that you don't show you. Okay, there's this cloth, like it's a shield, it's a covering, because that is your brain, that is your mind protecting you, and that's the right thing to do when anything like that happens. It's the truth. People take cover in the place of danger, right? But it sometimes hinders us from living our best lives. And this is not me telling anybody how to live. This is me pointing out issues that have affected lives for a long time. Another crazy effect is attraction to emotionally unavailable people or partners. People get to that point where their attraction looks like what daddy or who daddy was, the kind of attributes daddy carried. So if my father was an abusive person, I might find it, like I said earlier, people who just stay in abusive marriages and say, oh, after all, my dad abused me and nothing happened. I lived, I'm older now and blah, blah, blah is happening. And then they just go ahead with it without minding the consequences. We just go ahead with it. It's cool. It's fine. It has happened. It has happened. It has not happened. It does not happen. No. Seriously, we need to attack these issues. The intention of me even doing this today is to let us know how important fathers are. Because people always complain, how many times they want to celebrate Mother's Day in a year, blah, 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 blah. And our fathers are not really celebrated, but fathers are very important. This is me, celebrating them, but as well, calling what needs to be called out and reminding them of their importance. Because they are important, whether they like it or not, whether they know it or not, whether they are told or not. Another crazy effect is seeking constant validation. And a lot of us, even without going through the daddy issues, but if you came from a home where both mother and father were not present, or just did not give you attention, or did not see your opinions as anything, the fact that these people were not emotionally available, oh my God, you would find yourself trying to seek the validation of others because there was nobody to tell you, naturally, this is how it's supposed to be. So a child is living their life here with the guide of their mother and father. And so even before they look over their shoulders to see if anybody is looking at them or guiding them or giving them a go ahead or an approval or telling them, oh, you've done well, oh, you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that. As long as a parent is present doing that thing, you would know that, okay, I have people backing me. But when you don't have all of these things, when you don't have anybody that was saying, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that, or go ahead, well done, you will get to that place where you are looking for somebody to say what you wanted to hear as a child or fill that void that wasn't filled. Because whatever was not done for you as a child will show up when you are an adult. The needs that you have, the fact that you are grown up does not mean those needs are not there. They are still there. They are going to reflect or they are going to show up when you become an adult. Or now that you're an adult, you'll be seeing some of those things. Remember during Children's Day when I said, if you were not, bought the things you loved or giving that attention or the gifts you wanted or did not have a proper Children's Day, you should treat yourself to children. Can you remember when I said that? It was very important when I said, some people were laughing about it, but it's necessary. You need to get to that point where the things that were not done for you, do it for yourself. That's one of the ways to heal. The things that were not done for you, do it for yourself. The crazy thing about the daddy issue thing is it affects our relationships as adults, the way we relate with both genders. So you might have a friend who you like, and when that male friend is now very close to a female friend or somebody close to you, you start getting jealous. I mean, this person is mine, blah, 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 blah. And the person is just a friend, or you guys are not dating. And you see yourself getting attached to every single guy that shows you care, that shows you love, that shows you attention. You see yourself getting, to that point where as long as the person is caring, the person loves you. That's what you think. And you don't even know when it's a false relationship or it's a red flag. You're not dictated. As far as that person has shown you a single act of kindness, the person loves you. And as a guy, you start to imitate your daddy's behavior. People often think that the daddy complex is just for the females. It doesn't affect the males. You lie. My brother and sisters, it affects both male and female. If you did not have, and we also have what we call mommy issues, true. We also have what we call mommy issues. If you did not have your parents in your life, if you did not have them, and this is not to say, oh, those that their parents died, or maybe your father was fighting in war, or he was not present because of one issue or another, which is not his fault. We are not talking about that. That's a different case. It's a different ball game when you had your parents present, and when they took care of you, they did their best, and maybe life happened. It's a different issues. We appreciate those parents. But when you did not even have them at all, and even when you had them, they were not emotionally present. They were just physically present. They were not doing the roles that parents should do in your life. There are two different things. It's a different ball game, and it's a crazy ball game. And this is not to say that when you see certain signs, you now say, oh, this person has daddy issues. That is not to say that, oh, because some of us are, we are more intelligent than the psychologists themselves that ran these studies to discover these issues. Some of us are more intelligent than them. So we feel like, oh, these people don't know what they're saying. But me, I know when I see it. I know when I know when I see it. And then we try to diagnose everybody in our lives. Please, this is not a call to diagnosing. This is a call to empathy. And this is a call to everyone doing or playing their roles in the lives of their children. So let's also talk about how some of these fathers found themselves in the positions where they created these issues. Because the truth is, everything starts from the origin. They too, even though they've created a mess, had absent fathers. They had fathers who were not present in their lives. And so when it was time for them to father their children, they did not know better. Some of them knew better, but they refused to take responsibilities because we have people who are just irresponsible. This has nothing to do with trauma. They are just irresponsible. And then we have people who had fathers who were overly critical about them. Those overly critical parents who criticize every single thing about you. Oh my God. It's a very bad thing. Because we make it feel like mistakes are terrible. But mistakes are a part of learning. So if I'm learning anything, I would definitely make a mistake. That is to show that I did not know that thing. That's why I made the mistake. You cannot do what you don't know right. It's not possible. You are doing something well because you know how to do it. You don't do something well when you don't know how to do it. So mistakes are not bad. So if you're an overly critical parent, please arrest yourself. Call yourself to order because your children need you. We had fathers who were abusive to these fathers. We have fathers who were emotionally distant and overly involved to the point that they did not allow their children do what they needed to do or learn what they need to learn. Because the truth is, you can't do everything for your children. That's one of the things everybody needs to understand. There are certain lessons that must be learned the hard way. They call it tough love. There are certain lessons that should be learned the hard way because your child will not learn if they are not found in the position where they have problems to solve or, just them facing challenges. Children should not be helped at the advent of challenges. There's an article I wrote a month ago about raising children who are resilient. You should read that on our Medium account. If you want to raise children who are resilient, you shouldn't jump in at the advent of issues to help them every time. Allow them maneuver their way, but be there. Let them know that you are there, but tell them, think about this thing you're going through. How do you think you can handle it? And with doing this, you are raising an independent, amazing, excellent child who will become a wonderful adult tomorrow. So these fathers, even though a lot of them have caused harm, they too had their own stories. They too had problems that they did not understand. They too had moments when they were just like you and they had to figure out life. And in figuring out life, some of them did not figure it out the right way. Because we have fathers who had daddy issues and they are amazing fathers today. We had fathers who did not have present fathers, but oh my God, they are doing the best they can to compensate for what their parents could not give to them. That brings us to the myths around daddy issues. There are a lot of myths. Oh, people say things like, only women have daddy issues. You lie. I've said it over time. You lie. As long as one parent was absent in your life, there is something you have missed from their presence. Go and look at people who are extremely confident and wonderful. They will tell you, that the love that their parents showered over them. This is not just about a parent providing everything, even what the child just wants because they saw their friend having. I'm talking about parents who were available. There is nothing like a present parent, emotionally present parent. There is nothing. It's a gift. It's a gift many would kill to have. And so people say things like, oh, daddy issues can only affect women. That's a lie. Men and women carry unresolved wounds, both from their mothers and their fathers. Emotional pains that cannot be discriminated by gender. So if you like, say because you're a man, you cannot have daddy issues. My brother, I say you lie. It can affect anybody. Another crazy myth you would hear people say is it's an excuse for bad behavior. In as much as it is true that we have people all over the world who will always look for one reason why they are behaving the way they do, it doesn't change the fact that some people are not conscious of this thing and that some people are not emotionally aware, or they're not even self-aware. So it is possible that I can be doing something and I don't know it's hurting people, or I'm just doing it's possible. It's very possible. It is very possible. Like I would usually say, you're not the one experiencing yourself. Other people are experiencing you. I'm not talking about something that is obviously bad, like killing somebody or lying, but there are certain, how do I put this for people to understand? There are certain subtle characters or habits people have that are very toxic, yet to them they just see it as normal. Another thing people will say is, oh, people who are clingy and needy have daddy issues. It's not everybody that are clingy that have daddy issues. For some people, that's just how they are. They love to be clingy, and you cannot beat them because they love to be clingy. But it doesn't mean that all of them have daddy issues. So please get that mindset off your head. You know, people will say things like, oh, if you marry someone that is way older than you have daddy issues. It is a lie. People have their preferences. I've seen people who came from healthy homes but still decided that this person that is way older than me is what I want, or is who I want. So please get that particular thing out of your head. Another thing is, people say people who want romantic attention have abandonment issue, or maybe they've struggled with low self-worth. It's possible. It is still part of it, and it is true, but it is not everybody. I'm debunking these myths because these are the common myths that people say about daddy issues. It's not everything that applies to everyone. So some people might just be how they are, not necessarily because they had daddy issues. Another crazy myth you would hear is, if your father was physically present in your life, you shouldn't have daddy issues. You will not have daddy issues. I say again, you lie. The fact that your daddy lived in the same house with you does not mean that daddy issues will not catch you if you want. Daddy issues, or should I say the daddy complex, can happen to anyone, can be anybody's story if your dad was not emotionally present. Remember, I said it has to do with emotional struggles and attachment issues. So there's just a lot of myths to debunk, which I would extensively write on that later. But where is all of this story taking us to? In this wonderful life that God has given every one of us, people are dealing with so much. And when I started this podcast, I let us know that the society is largely affected by families from different nations. So a society is made up of people from different families, different cultures, different backgrounds, different understanding of life, different patterns, it is so much. And it is crazy that we have to be dealing with a lot of issues as adults. It's not sound. It's not nice. Nobody likes it. I don't like it. But that is where we found ourselves. And when I started this podcast, I told myself that I don't want to present a perfect family life to people. Because the truth is, there is no perfect family. No family is perfect. We are just talking about Ifunaya's family the other day and what happened, The people who treated her father that way, are they not his siblings? They are. Still, look at what happened. Family will always have their issues. Now, it's left for us to make the best out of our families. Now, I will say this anywhere. If you have a family that is toxic and you've tried your best to do what you can, please detach yourself. I say this with all amount of humility and soundness of heart and mind. Detach yourself. You know that these people will not do any good for you. Detach yourself. Protect yourself as much as you can. Make sure that you are safe. And even when they come back and say they want to make peace, be watchful. Open your eyes. Shine your eyes. If that girl was not resilient, if she was not loved or cared or catered for by her father, if she was not bold, coming from a sound home, do you think she would have been able to fight all of these battles? Do you think she would have been able to stood up for her father? Please, train your children well. Love them. People don't know what their children can do for them. Even the Bible speaking in the book of Psalm, children are gifts, their heritage. They're like blessings. They're like, rewards from God. Any man that has them has a quiver in his hand to fight his battles. Because children, when they grow, they will fight for their parents. So this was a reminder to me, yesterday. I was saying, I didn't create this podcast to present a perfect family, because no family is perfect. We have our issues, we quarrel, we argue. But the way we settle them is what really matters. But when it gets to a point where family is not showing up as family, my dear, detach. If you've tried to make peace with this person and it's not working, please leave it alone, rest. Let the Lord fight the remaining battles. You've done what you could. Don't kill yourself because of anybody that says they're your brother or your sister. Family will always be important. Family life will always be important. And it is my greatest desire that family is where somebody can come home to and relax. But when it is not there, it is not there. You cannot kill yourself. Somebody said something, where you make your home is where your home is. So wherever you have found to be your home, wherever you have found to be your comfort, to be your safe haven, take care of it, nurture it, keep it well, and enjoy it to the fullest, because that's what you have. How can we really help ourselves? We've talked about daddy issues, and it's affecting a lot of relationships, because now it's being weaponized against women. Women are being called needy. She has daddy issues. That's why she's behaving like that. That's why she has attitude problem. That's why this, that's why that. But how can we help ourselves? How can we really come to that place where we find help and we utilize the help we find and become whole? Because the truth is, not because I had an issue or have had life tough, does it mean that I should die there and continue to suffer? I mustn't suffer because I've had life tough. I should be able to find rest one day. I should be able to find peace one day. I should be able to come to the place and say, I've had it tough, I've had it rough, I've suffered. But you see, there is help for anybody who needs it. So what can we do? How can we help ourselves? How can we get better? What do we do? How do we solve this major crisis that is destroying relationships all over the world? This major crisis that is making sure people don't have their best life put together. What can we do? How do we solve daddy issues? I would like to say, firstly, we must go back to opening wounds. I would also like to say that for wounds to be healed, sometimes they need to be revisited. They need to be cleaned out. And then the healing can start to take place. Go back and revisit the hate. What happened before? How did it start? What did daddy say? What did mommy say? What really happened? How did it all start? We must revisit the things that caused the problem, the origin of the issues. We must revisit them. You're not revisiting them to bear a grudge or hate on this person, because already, as it stands, you hate the person. The person has caused you so much havoc. So what's the essence of continuing the hate? It's for you. Revisit this whole thing. You can journal about it. What happened? I would always recommend a therapist. I know people don't like therapists though. People will say things like, I beg, especially blacks. It's just recently that the blacks have seen that, okay, therapy is needful. Please visit a therapist if you need to. Especially therapists that, work on DBT, trauma. Visit them. Talk. Tell them what's on your mind. One beautiful thing about therapy is it helps you find where the issue is. Let me borrow the words of Tom, Ife's husband. He said, therapy will help you find what the problem is. And Jesus does the healing. For me, I wouldn't say that, I've had everything figured out. No. I had to do some revisiting. I had to do therapy. I also had to take them to Jesus, because you cannot do it on you cannot do it on your own. And if I cannot be telling you, the family journal is here to do this, the family journal is here to do that, and I will not be transforming my life at the same time. That's a big sham. So whatever it is I'm doing, I'm telling you that, okay, I've been in this position too. These things have happened to me, yeah? But then I'm seeking help. I go back, I journal. I have an audio journal. Sometimes I don't want to write. I want to speak. And sometimes the Holy Spirit has a way of taking me back to the genesis of certain things. And I go back. I write them down. I speak to the therapist. I pray. And then I find relief for my soul. And when I see that something is not working, or that I need to create boundaries, I do that immediately. For my mind's sake, for my health's sake. Because I cannot pour from an empty cup. And I cannot be an amazing parent if I still have issues that I have not dealt with. So please, if you need therapy, go for therapy. Remember what I said earlier. Children's Day, I said, if something was not done for you, do it for yourself. You will need to reparent yourself. You would need to love yourself. Tend to your wounds. Care for you. Nurture yourself. Nobody can do it for you, because here's what happens. When we find a spouse or a partner who does majority of the things that were not done for us, we leave the person overburdened. Now, the person is bearing so much load on their shoulders because they are trying to help you. It's a lot of work. Nobody can do the work of two people perfectly. Like I said, single parents are doing a wonderful work, but they will not lie to you that it is not challenging. It is, because the work of parenting is made for two people. Now, imagine you putting that same burden on a partner or a spouse. Now, the partner or spouse may have their own baggage, or they may have their own luggage, they may have their own things they are dealing with. And then maybe sadly, you now have a child while you're trying to arrest all of these issues. Now, imagine the craziness that is happening in that moment. I would advise anybody, any day, anytime. Help yourself before you get married. Let go of these things. Deal with them before you have children. No child deserves to repeat traumas. No child deserves to go through what their parents have gone through. No child deserves it. So it's our own responsibility to arrest the issues that we have and create the best life for ourselves, as well as the children we intend to birth. Also, if you really want to work on this issue, go back in time. Ask questions. Why was my father the way he was? You can ask his mother. Ask your mother. Why? What happened? Does he have any past? Was there anything that happened to daddy in the past? Ask questions if you really want to go deep and clear the table once and for all. Ask questions. Like I said, these fathers that created this chaos also had their own issues. They had fathers who were not able to father them. They had fathers who failed them. And so they now did the same thing to you. So go back in time. Why did you do this to me? Sometimes you need to confront the people who hurt you in order to get your healing. You need to speak to them. Tell them what it is they did. Where they must have pinched you. Let them know. And when they do know, make sure you air everything out as quick as possible. Let them understand it. And then there's a place for forgiveness. You may not forget in a hurry, but if you forgive, let go. Let them go with whatever it is they have done. And I cannot teach you how to forgive. I cannot tell you when to forgive. But you know in your heart of hearts when to let go. But make sure you process all that emotion. Go through it. Take it a day at a time, a step at a time. And when you are sure that you are ready to let go, let go. Building healthy relationship is another way to help yourself. Learn to build a healthy relationship with yourself first. Stop the self-sabotaging habits. Show up for yourself. If you tell yourself, we are going for a walk tomorrow, make sure you go for that walk. Start honoring yourself every day. Start doing the things that yourself needs. The self-care time, the time to sleep, the time to eat, the time to drop the phone, the time to read. The things that you need to do for you, do them for you. Start with the best way to build relationships is with you first. When you are wonderful, blossoming, it won't be hard for you to build a relationship with other people. And you will not take nonsense from people because you don't give yourself nonsense. If you choose what is good for you, if you show up for yourself, if you choose you every day, you won't take nonsense from people. And so, just like I said at the beginning, even though culture has made it seem like women are the ones with the daddy issues, anybody can have daddy issues. Daddy issues or the daddy complex surfaces in your life when you are a child, when you need your father and can't have him at that moment or don't have him available. And then, I've heard of situations where a child would lie when she was, consistently asked, "Where's your dad?" And she would make excuses. He traveled, he did this, he did that, he did this, he did that. Because she was tired of the questions. Why's your dad not dropping you? And you may feel like she doesn't feel it. She feels it. Or do you think boys don't want their fathers to teach them to ride bikes or watch football with them? Boys want to enjoy their fathers, and so do girls. So, like I said, it's not for one party. So after the childhood phase, it surfaces when you are growing up as an adult. So after the childhood phase, you would find yourself going through that particular cycle again when you're trying to build your life, your career, meeting people and the rest. And then when you are trying to parent, that's another phase when the whole cycle resurfaces itself. And so from you just needing your dad when you were 7 years old to you trying to build relationships with people and then to you being a father or a mother, you would see that this particular thing that pop culture has turned into something trivial and has, used to mock people is a big problem and should be handled. So what is my message to fathers? Fathers, you are important. You are amazing in every way. You are valued and your presence is so needed that it cannot be underestimated. It is true that all over the world, there's been a toxic masculinity culture that says boys should not cry or shouldn't show emotions, that has made men turn to what they are not. But there's also a healthy way to be a man. There's also a healthy way to be a father. And it is my earnest desire that you as a man will make that decision today, that you will be a present father, that you will be available for your children, that you will not love them based on circumstance or based on conditions, but that you will show up for them when they need you, that you will clap for them when they need the applause, and that you will show them lessons they need to learn before they grow older, and that you will correct them, and that you will wrap them in your love and dance with them as much as you can. It is also my earnest desire that fathers who have been wounded will find solace for their souls. They will find peace and rest and be able to give their children or their family the best they can. It is my earnest desire that fathers will be present, that the cycle will break, that even though your daddy was not present, but as long as you have decided that you want to be a father, that you will be a present father, you will be available, that you will go out with your children, that you will play those games with them, that you will watch football with them, and that you would attend their graduation, that they would see you show up in ways that their minds cannot even express. It is my earnest desire that you be a father. And it is my earnest desire that your children will call you blessed tomorrow. So once more, happy Father's Day to all the amazing fathers out there. You have no idea the amazing wonders you've brought into the world. Once more, I want to say a big thank you for sticking with me through this episode. There is more to come. There are more conversations we will have. But for now, I remain your host, your family member, Jane Adele, and we just talked about daddy issues. This is the Family Journal.
Thank you for listening to the Family Journal.
To share your story or your topics with us, reach out to us on familyjournalstories@gmail.com. If you want to keep it anonymous, you can reach out to us on Instagram at The Family Journal and get the anonymous link in our bio. Thank you.